Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Dattie podcast. Today is March 19th, 2025, and I am here with Laura Miranda from Brow House Beauty down in San Antonio, Texas. What's up, Laura?
Hey, what's up? Long time no see.
I know. I was, so I've met you almost 5 years ago. I came down to San Antonio, but the way that kind of happened was I had been doing SMP. So 5 years ago in 2020, during the pandemic, I had been doing SMP for like 2 years. And I'm like, what's this microblading? People kept asking me. They kept, they would call me and they say, do you also do microblading? Do you also do microblading? And so I started to talk to some people locally, and I just, I didn't grow up putting on makeup and stuff on my eyebrows. And so I wasn't familiar with it. See, making hairlines, I'm like, yeah, I know how to look at a hairline. But I didn't really understand the process. I was like, let me see what the heck. So I went on YouTube. I typed in
Like,
microblading explained, and the first video popped up. It was at the top. I watched it. It was about 6 or 7 minutes. And I'm like, wow, this person's a really good communicator and they're a really talented artist.
mhm.
That artist, I was like, I need to train with that person. That artist was Laura Miranda.
Yeah.
And I just went back and I looked at it. So you had 1 million views back then.
Uh-huh.
I I went and I looked at it. You have 5.1 million views. It's 6 years old. You're still at the top,
I'm
right?
still yeah, I'm still there, still up at the top. I'm still probably one of the first ones that pops up. So funny story about that video. So I had a YouTube channel for about like 10 years. I was a makeup artist and I kept making tutorials about makeup and I grew a good little platform, same with Instagram. Well, then I transitioned from makeup, bridal makeup specifically, into the PMU world. I had I had a quick start. I want to say as soon as did my first model, maybe first and second model, I want to say that my sister-in-law was the first one. She posted a video and some pictures, and I think because I already had a following, it just happened so quickly. So I was at a salon like shortly after and pretty booked out. So the first question I kept was always receiving was, what is microblading? And so I said, you know what, let me just make a video about it. It was for my clients and my clients only. And the one video that I would make, not intentionally to, explode the way it did, is the one that I received the most views, and I still get paid for it on AdSense from YouTube.
I was going to ask that.
Mhm.
So you get paid now. How does that work? So you started getting, because I remember you mentioned this to me back when you were at like 1 million views. Now you're at 5.1. The more views, do you get a little bit money? Like here's $25 more, and how does that work?
Honestly, I'm not sure how, but like the algorithm, I don't know. I'm not sure how the algorithm works, but I still just get a check. And so if I understood it a little bit more, then I would be able to explain it. But I just have AdSense and I just see the checks come into my bank account. Anywhere from $1,000 to maybe when it's at the lower end of not receiving views. And I know when it's receiving views because I'll get notifications like someone liked your video, someone commented, there's a question, I'll get new followers. So when it's trending is when I see more of like the higher checks, but on the lower end, it's still like $300
And this is per month. You just get $300 a month
per month.
minimum.
Per month.
So for past 5 or 6 years, you've
Hmm.
been getting checks for 300, but closer to 1,000, sometimes more than 1,000 per
Uh-huh.
month, just for having that video.
Just for having that video. I mean, there's a couple other videos. I think when people navigate, they'll kind of search and then they find my Instagram. So I like that it traffics them into like the rest of my social media, and then they'll see where I'm the most active, which is Instagram. I'm trying to get with TikTok. Like I'm trying, but it's a little bit hard. It's hard for me to match my words to when you press play. I'm more of like turn the camera on, film, edit, and then upload later. TikTok is more like in the moment. Like you have to like, okay, 1, 2, 3, ready, go. And then you press and you have to like mimic the words and match it. I'm horrible.
You can't add a video that you already recorded onto TikTok and then upload it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah, but most people that I meet that want to collab with me, they're just like, they get their tripod, they get it up, and they're like, "Okay, ready?" And I'm like, "Oh my god,
Oh, they
hence
do it just live right there?
I'm not great at this."
Oh,
But
hell no.
uh-huh, I'm like,
No.
"Okay."
I cuss too much.
Yes, I'm just like, "Ah." Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I watched your video. You're a great communicator, and that makes sense. You're trying to communicate to your patients, the people you're going to work on and do their eyebrows. You just want them to understand, probably because you're tired of answering the same damn questions. So you're like,
questions.
"Fuck, I'm just gonna make this video, and it goes viral, and you're making money."
And I'm making money. Yeah, and then
That's amazing. I mean, that's everybody's dream,
so
get
so I've had students like you come in to see me because of that video, but I've also had, clients. I have clients from everywhere come in to see me because of that video.
yeah, I mean, I literally booked a hotel room, booked a
Everything.
flight, flew
Mhm.
down to San Antonio, and San Antonio is awesome. Anybody listen to this, if you haven't been down there, it's amazing,
Yeah.
especially if you're a tourist. I don't know how it is living down there, but tourism is great.
It's great. Yeah, no, it is. I always get the same. I just had a student come in the other day. Same thing. Booked her. I get the same questions like, okay, where are you near? Where are you nearby? By the airport. Very central to. I'm very central. I'm still at the same place that you flew into, the same location. Uh, yeah, I get students all the time, and they book their room, and they ask me all these like questions, like where should I take my kids, or where should I go? So yeah, I feel like we have a good variety of like a nightlife, but also very, very kid friendly environments.
Yeah, and it's really spread out. It's not like a
Mhm.
congested city. Like there's room to
Yeah,
walk, and you know
I
what I
feel like
mean.
that's why a lot of people move down here. So we are getting starting to get congested, but not. I want to say like 5 years ago, maybe not as bad as it is now.
Okay. Okay. And you're not in the direct, because there is a big city area too, like with tall buildings and everything. Now, do you live in the city or on the outside?
I live in the city.
Uh,
So where you came to see me in that area, where Brow House is located, is Castle Hills. So I live about 8 minutes down the street from there, which puts me, I literally could jump on a highway and I would be downtown where you see the big buildings in about 6 minutes.
And that's where I say, what's that? What was that called? Is it called the River Walk?
You
Maybe.
take the river walk.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's where my hotel was right there. So I walked
Yeah.
down
Did
and
you
I
like
went
it?
on. Yeah, it was amazing. It was really cool. Yeah, it's like you just walk down the river. There's another restaurant. There's another bar,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and they do have kids stuff.
Yeah. And it's so funny because locals, we don't go there. But everybody that comes to visit, they go there. And we're just like, oh, we don't go there.
It's new for us, right?
Yeah, it's kinda like Vegas.
What was the name of that breakfast place I went to? You told me about it, and then I went to it, and apparently it's really well known. There's like a breakfast burrito place I went to. I can't remember. Blanco, maybe something.
Blanco? Is it Blanco Cafe?
That might be. But
Maybe.
everyone said it was like legendary, and I went there, and it was really good. I just want to bring
Or
that up. Um,
food is good
so
here.
there's a lot of good food, especially if you like Spanish food,
Yep.
which I love. I love, and I've talked about this. I love Italian food, but I think I might like Mexican food more, to be honest, because
They're
there's
wonderful.
such a variety, and I can
Mhm.
eat it pretty much every day. Like
Yeah.
I don't get tired of it.
Yeah, and you can kinda play with it to make it, like, either unhealthy or healthy, so anytime I go somewhere and I'm, like, watching my calories, I feel like I can kinda nitpick, like, what I want or what I'm gonna eat or what I'm gonna choose, and it is healthy because like, chicken, the chicken panchetto, it's just chicken with, like, tomatoes, jalapenos, and onions, and then just skip the tortilla.
Yeah, or skip the rice, right?
That too, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so Laura, do you remember when I contacted you to come down there? And I'm like, I only want to, I don't know if how I sounded, but I was like, I only want to do one-on-one training. I don't want to
Uh-huh.
do a group training. And
Yes.
it was an experience because I was not used to that. I liked how you're really good at like decorating. Something that I learned from you was you're like, well, this is more Instagrammable if you do it this way. That was like your word that described it. I was like,
Yes.
that's genius. I didn't even think like that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Do you do that now? Do you have, like, your place?
I try. I do little things. I'm not trying to look
We're still very Instagrammable, I feel like.
yeah.
I still have were you here when we have the fur wall or no?
I think you were putting that up, and you were getting like a swing. There was a possibility you were going to get a swing
Yes,
hanging
okay,
or
we never went
something.
with that. We ended up not because the girl that was going to help me, she was like, "The insurance is a lot, like, if a kid falls or something," which is
Oh,
like
true. I didn't even think of
yeah,
that.
so we ended up not going that way, but no, we still have a bunch of, like, little areas with nice walls. The restroom is all Bad Bunny with little disco balls. We're still very pink. Mhm.
And you change it up every now and then too, right? You're like, I don't like this anymore. I'm gonna
Yeah,
change it a little
we
bit.
change it up all the time. I was actually getting an itch to change it up, like without those cream colors that are like really popular right now.
Okay.
And I wanted
Like,
to do away with the pink, but the girls voted and said no, that like we're so legendary with the pink.
yeah,
And
yeah, it is. It is part of your brand. I would say that.
yeah, and so they were just like, "No, I don't think so." So I did tone down my room a little bit. I have like a white desk now, and I'm doing like white and black. But I still, if you turn one way, if you turn looking this way where I'm working, it's like very like white and black, so very neat and clean. But if you turn the other way, you still see all the pink.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
Mhm.
that.
The
It
feathers.
makes it feel more I guess authentic and like people
Mhm.
care, not
Yeah, that's
just
what
boring.
everybody knows us for. I want to do a disco ball wall, but I just haven't came around to it.
Oh, me in like seventh grade, I had the disco ball. I put the
Oh,
stars on my ceiling. You remember the glow in the dark stars?
I have those too, all hanging up in the ceiling. That's so funny.
When you were so I just want to kind of start from the beginning, Lord, because you're obviously a great communicator. I mean, that shows in all of your videos, but English isn't your first language. So where were you born and how did you end up getting to where you're at right now?
So I was born here in San Antonio, Texas. I went to elementary school here, but both of my grandmothers only spoke Spanish. So whenever my parents would leave us, either with one or the other, literally my grandma would say it in Spanish, like if she doesn't talk to me in Spanish, like I'm not feeding her. And so I learned Spanish first as what I could remember, and then I want to say around fourth grade or fifth grade. Um, I'm not sure what happened or what with my family, but we went to Mexico for the summer. We always went to Mexico for the summer, by the way. So we go to Mexico one summer, and I think maybe my parents got back together. I want to say that I remember there was like a breakup, and then I just remember my mom uh asking for transcript papers, and she just asked us if we wanted to stay in Mexico with our dad, of course with her as well. And so I went to school in Mexico for like I think I lived in Mexico for about 4 years.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Big news for the SMP world. Follicule has just dropped their new scalp pigment. It's bigger, better, and made with Hanafi Color Pigments, one of the largest pigment manufacturers in the world. Not only is this pigment backed by world-class expertise, but they are giving you more of what you need. That's right. Their new, bigger bottles mean you have enough pigment to do 20 to 25 sessions in just one bottle. And because you're part of the Daddy podcast community, we're offering you an exclusive deal. 15% off all pigments and aftercare products when you use the code DADDY at checkout. Take your SMP game to the next level with Follicule Pigments. Go to the Follicule website. Get it now. And you had remembered life before living in Texas, and now you're living. And what part of Mexico were you in?
Monterrey.
And how far down is that?
From here, I think like 8, 9 hours.
Okay, so it's not super deep.
No, no, it's
Uh,
like I want to say once you get to the border town, it's about 3 hours from there.
okay.
A huge, huge city.
And to this day, do you still visit your cousins?
Not anymore. I want to say like in I don't remember the year. I just remember like my dad had his, like businesses over there, and I just remember him telling us that we had to leave because things were getting so bad over there with all the gangs and stuff that they had. And so I just remember we moved to Laredo briefly for like 3 months, and then we moved to San Antonio. And I want to say I was entering ninth grade.
Okay, so you've been in San Antonio since about ninth grade.
Mhm.
So is that like 14?
I think so. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
went to Memorial.
Now going from Mexico, where you're pretty much only speaking Spanish, and then coming back to Texas, was it hard for you to like write in
Yes.
English?
No, I think I was fluent in both because my mom speaks more English than Spanish. Her Spanish is like Tex Mex.
Okay.
And then my father spoke only Spanish, and then both my grandparents spoke only Spanish. So I still had my mom, and all my cousins from San Antonio. Like even though I was living in Mexico, I would still come visit San Antonio.
Okay.
We had all of our like our doctor visits, our dentist visits. We're still over here. Um,
So you would have to just have a long ass drive to go to
yeah,
them.
yeah, to come over here. Um, it wasn't hard speaking English. I think it was just hard going from I guess where I was raised in Monterrey, coming back this way was just, I want to say, it was just awkward. I was getting bullied all the time. And yeah, probably because my English wasn't, I mean, just like little words that I couldn't pronounce, or I would say them wrong, or the music. I grew up listening to like Rebede and Tejano music and all Spanish, and they were just listening. I think it was Ja Rule and Ashanti, and I didn't know the music. I didn't know any rap. I didn't know who Nelly was. Like, I just didn't know much, and so I was just like the foreign child. Yeah. So I was like, okay. And then I remember my mom took me shopping and she bought me, I think it was Tommy Hilfiger and Polo. And I think the school she put me in wasn't like, it was like middle class, or maybe like, I don't know. It's funny because I was being bullied, called like, oh yeah, like the Tommy girl. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, what am I supposed to be wearing then? And Melrose, one of my friends that I met, she was like, we buy our shirts at Melrose. And I remember I made my mom take me to Melrose to get these shirts. And my dad was so mad because he was like, you don't need to be walking around wearing shirts that say sexy on them. And I didn't even know, like, I was just like, oh my God.
Juicy on your butt. Remember those
Yes,
things?
that
Juicy
stuff. That's
shorts.
what was popular. And yeah, no, it was quite the change for sure.
And now when you say you were bullied, did anyone actually like hit you? Did you get in fights or was it they just talking shit?
They told me that I had to be part of a gang, and it was like the pink gang and the purple gang. And yes, they told me that I had to get rolled in. Um, and I think my older brother intervened, and he was like, "Y'all are not rolling her." And I was like, "What does that mean?" And he was like, "Girl, they're about to beat you up." I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, yeah." I would get bullied all the time. I think my first fight is, I want to say, what everybody kind of like remembers, because um funny story, on St. Patrick's Day this Monday, some guy was like, "Hey, I'm so and so. Like, I went to school with you," and I was like, "You did?" And I'm super introvert but extrovert. So in school, I was just quiet, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't remember him," but he said, "Well, I remember that fight that you had," and I was like, "Of course, that notorious fight I had."
Was it
Yeah,
in front of everybody?
in front of the whole
Like
school.
cafeteria fight?
Yes, and it was just like, and again, just because I was getting bullied, she said something, I was just like, "Okay, I mean, I don't know." What was it? It was about, I didn't even know what this was, but it was about the the yearbook. The
Okay.
yearbook? The yearbook? Yeah, she was, like, upset about something about the yearbook, and I was like, "I don't know what she's talking about." And so, it took me a minute because in Mexico, I wanna say, where my dad, like, was raising us, it was just different. And down here, when we came, my mom was like, "I don't know, I just, I saw a house, I bought the house, like, it looked like a lovely neighborhood," and so it wasn't. And yeah, I went to
She
Memorial.
didn't know the area that, hey, this might not be such a nice area.
Yeah, and so, yeah, the girl just attacked me and we started fighting. But let me tell you why everybody remembers the video
Okay.
of us fighting. This girl had double D's, and the shirt she was wearing was from Melrose. Okay. So there was nothing holding it together. Once we started fighting, I'm not sure what happened or how, but I end up like, her shirt just busts open. And so that's why everybody remembers that fight.
So
Everybody.
you're fighting in school, in high school, in the cafeteria,
Mhm.
and you're fighting, and then this girl's shirt and her boobs are hanging out.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Was her bra on or was there no bra?
I want to say she probably wasn't wearing, I don't know. Because I just remember everybody was like, everybody, like, and the thing is that I guess the school was just so used to fights happening because they built a ring around us so the teachers wouldn't come in. And so, yeah, I just remember they were like, "Oh my god, boobs are flying, boobs are flying." And yeah, I still see her till this day. We just
The
laugh
girl
about
that you fought?
it. Yeah,
Wow.
we're
You are
friends.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
we got over it. Yeah.
So I'm assuming you didn't get expelled or anything like that.
Went to alternative school.
Did you really?
Mhm.
For how long?
30 days.
Okay. And what was
Yep.
that like?
You know, I really don't understand these programs where they try to punish you because I feel like maybe you could just go to counseling or maybe they could just have different. I wanna say it's just too many kids for one teacher. They just can't handle it.
Yeah,
So
the ratio.
the
Yeah.
ratio, yeah, I feel like the alternative school was worse. Like, I could see why some kids just don't finish and they just like they're like, whatever, they just drop out. No, the alternative school was trash. It was now that I'm older, I'm like, wait a minute, like the professors were like I just think back and I'm like, we were not even doing work. Like we were literally like just watching it was supposed to be a form of punishment, but we were literally like just like watching movies all day.
The person in charge is like, I ain't dealing with these badass kids.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
You
bad. So
can't blame them though. As an adult, you think you're like, yeah, I kind of get it.
true. Yeah, but I'm just like, okay, that taught me nothing.
And
Mhm.
then you did 30 days at this alternative school, and then you just go back to your regular high school.
Mhm.
What grade were you in when that happened?
Ninth. Was in
Ninth
ninth
grade. Oh
grade.
wow, so you're a
Mhm.
freshman, and you had just moved back to the area.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I was
Wow.
like fresh to bully.
Well, overall, aside from that incident, I mean, would you consider yourself a good kid or a bad kid? I mean, did you get in a lot of trouble?
No, my parents were super strict.
Okay.
I didn't even go to a high school party until I was like 19 or 20.
Oh wow.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, both my parents were strict. My dad overall was extremely strict.
Sometimes I think about, friends I had growing up whose parents were also strict. But when you get older and when you have kids, you could see their point of view, right?
Yes, yeah, you can appreciate it because then even looking back sometimes I still see some of the girls and they'll come in and see me and they're like, "Oh, do you remember so and so?" And I'm like, "What happened to them?" And it's just like they had so much freedom like 6 kids later, like just
Ah,
and I'm just like, "Oh, okay."
6 kids, 6 baby dads.
Mhm. Yep.
That looks painful. That looks very
So
doesn't
bad.
look
Yeah.
like fun. Doesn't look fun.
Yeah, so yeah, I kind of do always think back and I appreciate like my dad being so strict with me. I thought he was crazy then, but now I'm like, okay, I kind of see it. It rubbed off because I feel like I'm super strict with my son. And then like I have to be told, sometimes my mom tells me like you need to chill out. Like he's a boy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no, you're not. No, ma'am. And she's like, or my son will be like, grandma says she let you go to a party, because he's 15 about to be 16. I will have to like call this woman and be like, what party? You didn't let me go anywhere. Not even the movies, girl. Like
Oh,
you
you
were
weren't even allowed. So would you have like if you had a boy? Were you allowed to have a boyfriend in high school?
no, I was not
Oh,
allowed to
really?
have a boyfriend. No.
But did you secretly?
Yes, I had a boyfriend 2017. My mom kind of knew about it, but my dad was not happy. Like he just kind of suspected. I remember one time I was like, Dad, we had a cookout, and I said, Dad, can so and so come over to the house for the? You know what he said? He looked at me in the eyes and said, "For what?" I said, "You know what? Forget it. Just
To
no."
hang out.
So hang out. Yeah, no, he didn't want to. I have 6 brothers.
You have 6 brothers?
6 brothers.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So is there 7 of you total? Are you the only girl?
No, I have a sister, so it's 8 of us total.
Wow. And what's the age range? Are you, like, in the middle?
I'm second oldest,
Okay.
but
Okay.
the next ones after me are all boys, and so they're like taller than me, so they don't agree. They're just like, no, she's our little sister. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, they're
And how old's your sister?
27 because she's
Okay, so
27, I'm 37, and my mom is 57.
10 years difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now did your sister get involved in your business at all?
What do you mean?
Like,
Like,
does she wanna, do PMU type work?
she works with me.
Oh, she does?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she does.
Uh,
She does lashes and tiny tattoos.
okay. When I was there, I forget the girl's name. You had a few people, and there was
Mary. I had Mary. She
yeah,
was my
Mary was cool.
member. Um,
Yeah.
I know I had my sister because she's been with me since the start. So she was with me at Salons by JC, and she's been with me here. I had Margot, I think, at the time as well, and I think
Who was
that's
the
it.
girl doing the lip blush?
Anna.
Okay. Okay,
Anna.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Anna's still with us too.
Wow, how many people do you have there?
Uh-huh. Now it's me, Becca, Selena, um, Karina, my sister, Anna. How many people does that make? I started counting
5?
with one hand.
Yeah, about
Me,
5.
Becca, Selena, Karina, Callie, my sister, and Anna. 7. Just 7.
Wow.
Mhm.
And do all of them do PMU, or how does that work? How do you organize that?
Yes. So Becca does eyebrows and lip blushing. Selena does eyelashes, lash lifts, eyebrows and lip blushing. Kalina does brows. And then Anna just recently started doing injections. So she does lip blushing,
Uh-oh.
injections, and Botox now. Uh,
Wow.
Karina does flowers. Yeah, she does like those. I don't know if you've seen them yet. I'm not sure what they're called either. Like the coffee with flower arrangements.
Okay, like, as a decoration?
No, she like delivers them.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
so a bunch of like bouquets and different little flowery flower stuff. So there's a bunch of flowers at the shop now too. Um, and my sister does lashes and tiny tattoos.
Okay, nice. And
Yep.
so how do you organize that, like, in regards to, hey, if you have so does each person have their an own room, or do you have them rented out, or
Yeah,
do
so they're
you
all
charge them rent, or do you take a certain percentage? Just
no, we do.
curious.
I only do booth rentals, so they're just there under booth rentals.
Okay.
Hmm.
And how many
Yeah,
booths do you have?
so there's 6 rooms.
Wow, you have 6 rooms now? I feel
Mhm.
like did you add some on since
Yeah,
I've been
because when
yeah.
you were there, it was only 3.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, that's why I
And the
was
front was the front desk, and then there was this hallway, remember, with
yeah, it's
nothing,
just a big hallway.
just a big hallway. Well, now the front got divided, and the front is my room. And then on the other side, you have the lobby, which is a lot smaller now. And then you have 2 rooms where that hallway was, and then you have the three. So 3, 4, 5, 6. And then do you remember the break room?
Yeah.
We turned it into a big old room. Like I took the break room away from them because, well, they would just eat there, and we were just kind of just always like, I'm not cleaning up after everybody. So and none of us work long hours. I want to say, like, either they're all married, they have kids, like they have a husband or a boyfriend that they live with, and so it's just like a part-time job for them, well, a full-time job, but our hours are not that long.
Yeah.
So I just told them one time, like, yeah, I don't think we need a break room. We would go back there and lay down on the couch, and then I would just get lazy, or we would leave our coffee there, or our like food. They would leave food there, and so then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like take the break room out because we just don't need it. So I ended up taking the break room out, and now it's a big old room for the floral girl.
Okay, and then if you had trainings or something, you could probably use that area too,
I
right?
have the front room, and then there was this middle room too. I don't know if you remember. So there's 2 rooms. There's still this other big room for training.
Okay, nice.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
well, that's smart. I've talked to a lot of other people, and they all say renting is the best way to kinda do it, as versus taking percentages. Because some people, after a certain percentage is taken, they're not gonna be happy anymore, you know?
Yeah, so I like to not so firstly and foremost, when I do my trainings, I like to promote just like your independence, and I'm promoting, not working for someone else, and having your own hours and having that sense of freedom. I did start off the first 3 years taking a percentage from the girls, and I just realized, micromanaging was not where I just felt like it was not something that I conquered. And I realized like, okay, well, like, why are they not coming into work, or why are they, calling in? And I didn't know how to do lashes. So I was, sharing these clients with them. And then I just noticed like they're not taking they're just not taking it serious. They would use some of the inventory for their friends and for, their families. And, you just trial and error, you learn. And one day I fired them, but in essence promoted them, because I said, y- you're still going to be here, you're just going to pay a booth rental now, and you're not going to have my company card to make your orders or anything, and you're just going to work for yourself. So guess what? They started not calling out. They started getting there on time. They were so excited to get their 175 or 150, per client without me taking a percentage. And guess what? They were not doing their friends and family for free anymore because they were purchasing their own products. So they knew like, oh, I can't, this is for my clients. So yeah, I
This
feel
is really good advice, people. I mean, anyone listening to this, if you want to have multiple employees, this is what Laura's telling you is gold.
What's up, SMP world? It's Chris with the Blends Protein. A lot of people are switching over to our products. The most realistic results are being put out using Blends products. These products were made for artists by artists. We want to make you a believer. Here's 20% off your first purchase. Use Dattie podcast. Blends for the most natural results in the world.
This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Learn from her mistakes. And I know exactly what you mean. I now rent the room. My sister works here and she does microblading, but she rents the room instead of doing percentages. Now, certain things I might take a percentage, like if it's SMP related or whatever.
Yes, yeah. And it's so easy, right? I feel like
Yeah.
it's the load.
And you're right about them. People take things more serious when you have skin in the game, because before it's like, oh, I get a person, so let's just call it even number. Let's say it's $100. So you take 35%. We'll take our $35. They get to keep their $65, but they're not going to put in as much effort. But hey, I have to pay this, $500 a month, so I need to be here and make that money.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So I just feel like they're happier now. I'm not asking questions. If they're there, they're there. If they're not, it's not my problem.
As long as you get your monthly rent.
Yep. Yes. Totally.
And I know your rent's probably got to be a lot higher than most. I mean, you got a storefront property, so it's.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty expensive. And the location that I'm in, I realized like, oh, okay, it's a prime location. We've never had we don't get like walkers, we don't have like homeless people around there. We don't have anyone trying to like break in 24/7. It's a very nice prime location. So yeah, one day I started looking to move locations, and I just decided to stay and renewed the lease. I think
5-year? 5-year lease?
3 years ago. So
okay, nice.
No, it was 6 years. 6-year lease. 4 years ago, I re-signed with them.
Oh, so it's coming up. Now, are they raising your rent? Do you think they're going to raise the rent again?
They do by a little bit, but I feel like the commercial real estate industry right now is suffering. So I will kind of fight back, and then
do a little negotiating.
Yeah,
especially, I mean, you've been loyal. You've been there for what, almost 10 years?
Yeah, 8. So by the time it turns into the 2 years, it'll be 10. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't want to get rid of it because then they're going to have to fix it up more than like, you know what I mean? They'll want to keep you.
Yeah, no, definitely. They do always like fight for me to stay.
Laura, so are you? So we were talking about you growing up. Are you married? Do you have kids?
I have one boy about to be 16 years old, not married. No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was there and I was watching them do the lip blush, I was fascinated by that. I was like, holy crap, they're like, doing all that. Now, do you guys teach that as well?
We do. We do trainings in every department. So whether it be, we also modify the trainings. I feel like not a lot of people know that. So sometimes I get questions like, do you do training just for this? Or can you, I want to do maybe a refresher and lips or eyeliner. We modify all of our trainings to meet, every individual. because not some people already have their aesthetics license or Cosmo license. They already did training in sanitation. They want to skip that day, you know,
Yeah.
and so they'll fill it with something else.
No, and that makes sense.
We do brows, all the brows. So ombre, microblading, nano brows, combo brows, hybrid brows, lamination and tint. We do training for that as well. And then of course, eyeliner, lip blushing, tiny tattoos, freckles. We also do paramedical tattooing, like on stretch marks.
Oh shit, you're doing that? That's big.
Mhm.
You can make some
Yeah.
serious money. I know a girl who does that, Jade Hernandez. She makes a good amount of money doing that.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
looks hard, if I'm being honest. To me, it looks like doesn't look like something I could really be good at,
You
I
know,
guess.
sometimes I think that, and then you'd be surprised because I think that's whatever you were doing was hard. And then I kind of like dabbled into it and I was like, oh my God, this is not as hard as you think it is. Well, okay, firstly, I don't do
Hairline?
the hairline. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mainly just on like my women clientele, you know, little areas here and there.
Okay, so you've been dabbing them up a little
Yeah,
bit?
so I
Give
remember you
them.
taught me
Yeah.
on the melon.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, and you were like, "It has to be a honeydew melon." Yes, I was like, "You know what? Let me just dabble into it and take what I learned that day." And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because a little bit of juice comes out like, kind of like blood, you know?
Yeah.
I still remember when I did that microblading training with you, the first time I heard the sound of when you're actually cutting them, and it's like that like Velcro sound. What
I
the?
love the sound.
You love the sound. I
I
mean,
do. Mhm.
I
They
was my hand was shaking, and you're like, "Come on, you got this." You know, I'd been trained,
Yes.
and I was scary because it's a lot different from me. Like I was saying, so I took your training. So anyone listen to this, if you want to do microblading training, I highly recommend Laura. Highly, highly recommend it. It's
Thank
worth the trip.
you.
It's worth the money for real. But when I took now I did a few clients with you, and then I did some when I came back. But after a while, the mapping was so hard for me. Like I was saying earlier, I didn't grow up putting on makeup. You know,
Yeah.
I just don't have the eye for it. I really don't. And then girls want these arches and shit. I'm like, nope, I'm done. So I paid for my sister to do some training. I taught her what you taught me, and obviously I don't know everything. And then I paid for it, and then she trained with quite a few other people.
Okay.
And so that's going well. So I wanted I wanted to offer the service. We're offering it. We can help people who want microblading. And now I understand it too. And then you guys got all the color tones and shit. I'm like,
Oh yeah, we have undertones, color tones. You know, you got the redheads and the people that pull ash, and then you have to learn, you know, about iron oxide and titanium dioxide, and then you get these girls coming in and they're like, "I want concealer," and I'm like, "No, wait, we can't do that." Yeah, we have our clients. You know, it's a great industry because you get to make them feel happy, right? Firstly and foremost, right? You fix something on them and you build that confidence. And then once you see them like so happy, um, it's a great feeling. But I love when they come back and they're just like start asking me questions about eyeliner and lips. And so most of my clients always come back. I see them walking around and I'm like, okay, those are my brows, that's my Russian liner, and those are my lips, you know? Yeah,
I'm part of you.
I'm part of it. Yeah.
No, I know the feeling when you see somebody, you see your work, or if they post a picture, you're like, damn, that looks good.
Yeah, you're like, oh, my work.
Yeah. They're a
Yeah.
walking billboard.
Yeah.
So do you do a lot of marketing? And if so, what kind of marketing do you do?
You know, I feel like no. I there was a point in my life when Instagram used to be what it used to be, and it was just like pictures was it. Do I have to market? Not really, because all of my yearlies and like all of my existing clients keep me pretty busy. I just recently, maybe like a month ago, started paying for like ads on Facebook.
Meta
So
ads? Yeah.
yeah, that's about it. I want to say everything else is just free marketing. Like I try to post on TikTok, I try to post on Facebook, I try to post on Instagram. Here and there I'll do shorts on YouTube. What else? I have this hope. Everything in my phone is coordinated. Like, so this is like my work screen. I have Lemon 8, Snapchat. I have WhatsApp for business. I have YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Is that it?
Now, do you post each one individually, or do you use like a service and it posts to all of them at the same time?
So Facebook and Instagram are coordinated together. So when we post one, it just kind of shares to the other.
Yep.
Snap, I have to individually post. Instagram, Lemon 8, and TikTok are all different. Yeah. So just
What's lemonade? What's that?
I don't know. It told me to download it, and I'm just always like, okay. Any free promotion is great for me.
It's a Lemon 8 it's a social media platform?
Yeah, I think it's a TikTok platform. I see it on there, and I'm always get. Oh, you know what? I have Threads as well.
I have Threads as well too. The good thing about that is you can kind of make the whatever you put on Instagram just leak onto it.
Link to there. Yeah. So I I'm not sure what Lemon 8 is. It just sent me like a link to download it, I think from TikTok, and I downloaded it, and I have followers on there. I'm like, yes. Yeah. I think I have
Uh,
to have one of my friends or something, like another one of my like influencer friends. I think I got a text invitation from a friend, Sierra. She has like she's a realtor, but she also has her husband has a restaurant. It's called El Cevichero. Oh my god, it's so delicious. So she's really good at like marketing, and so I think I got an invitation from her. So I trusted it, and I pressed on the link, and I just signed up.
okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
I need to be more on I'm not even on I have a TikTok. I haven't posted in months. I do it from the computer and I'm one of the people who are paranoid that the Chinese government's getting all my information, so I can't have a
Okay. So
TikTok on my phone. I actually have a separate phone for TikTok. I swear to God, I have two
really,
phones.
I see that all the time, and I'm like, well, what information are they going to get? I'm not doing anything. All they're going to see is brows, lips, liner, brows, lips, liner. That's it.
True. I get
Mhm.
it. No, I get it. I'm
Yeah.
just a paranoid person.
Yeah.
Um, so that's good that you barely doing any marketing and you still stay busy and your shop is running.
Um,
Because I always see you doing stuff and here's another question that I want to bring up. So you work your butt off. I see you work your butt off. I've seen your work ethic. You go hard, but you also like to have fun. How do
yeah.
you kind of juggle and being a mom? How do you kind of juggle all that?
So it's funny because the people that see me at work know that I work a lot, but then like some of my friends and people that I know, like, when I go outside and whatnot, I'll see them and they'll kind of look and be like, "Do you work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm always at work. I'm always working." But they don't follow my account. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
they
okay.
don't follow me on Instagram. They don't follow that Brow House page. Like they might just follow my personal page. And so a funny story. My sister one time, she said to me, "Hey, you might like on your personal page, it just like maybe you should just post that you own your own business." And I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Well, I mean, from the outside looking in, it just looks like you don't work and you don't do anything and you just travel and you're just like out eating at these nice restaurants, but nobody knows that you do brows on there or that you own your own business." And I was like, really? I went to go look, and I went to my page and kind of went to the homepage. I like scrolling, and I was like, oh yeah, I could see what she's talking about. It just looks like whoever, I mean, not a lot of people know that I have a boyfriend, but it just kind of looked like maybe he was funding my lifestyle.
I was
Yeah,
like, you had a sugar daddy.
yes. And so I was
I
like,
have a real job. I'm a business owner.
I work every day. I literally work Sunday to Sunday. I don't have any days off. I like it like that. Some people think I'm crazy, but I work every single day. Mhm. Um, I juggle it because I don't work full time hours. So I pretty much just make my own schedule. And so I think it's Tuesday through Saturday is 11 to about 3 p.m. And so I work every day. So there's, income every day coming in on my end, but I don't see a lot of clients, and I feel like they get the best version of me and I'm not burnt out, from seeing multiple clients in a day. And, B, there's income coming in every day. C, It pretty much helps control if I am outside or doing something, when I'm trying to juggle my personal life. It helps me not get too crazy. And I'm just like, no, guys, I got to go home. And then you tell people, well, I work tomorrow, and what are they going to say?
Yeah, most people aren't going to say, well, suck it up because you're right. And not only do you have, when you have to work, you want to perform to your best, but you're
Mhm.
doing something to someone's face,
Exactly.
and you have to perform your best. You don't want to make a mistake because maybe you
Exactly.
had one extra drink last night or two
Yeah.
extra, and then you're feeling like shit. And now you might,
When it comes to scalp micropigmentation, you need tools you can trust. That's where InkU SMP products come in. Jade needles are designed for precision and durability, giving you consistent, flawless results every time. Pair them with InkU Pigment, a rich, long-lasting formula your clients will love. Keep things smooth with InkU Butter, perfect for soothing and protecting the skin. And finish strong with antimicrobial foam cleanser for a clean, worry-free healing process. Ready to take your SMP game to the next level? Visit inkucare.com today. InkU SMP products are made for artists by artists.
And I also want them to get like the full experience of my personality, like they go online and they read these, great reviews, and they're just like, oh, like excited for their appointment, excited for me to, map them out and give them these like magical brows, right? They're excited for me to boost their confidence, but they're also excited to meet like this girl that they see on social media, like with this bubbly personality. And then, I have to juggle my, if I go out and have a couple of drinks, I have to kind of monetize them because if not, when I go to work the next day, I'm just like, although I am nice, I just feel like they don't get that bubbly experience that everybody, that everybody wants to, because nobody likes to go to some, to get their hair done or to get, filler injections, a med spa, and then you get like this dry personality. We control where we contribute our money to, and we want to contribute it to, good people,
yeah,
and so that's why I am very open with my life. Like I am very like I post I post when I'm outside. I tell people all the time, like come, I'm outside, like come see me, come hang out. Like I am very open, but I've always been taught or just from personal experience, when they come in to see me, they'll say things like, or they just feel like they know me. And so it's not very awkward now, and they'll come in and see me and they're like, oh, like, how's your son? And I'm like, oh, he's good, and then, and then I get to personally know them. So then I start asking them questions, but aside from that, like, I feel that just having that I guess like that look into my life where they kind of feel like, okay, like I would feel comfortable going to her. Not only is she experienced, but she's also friendly.
yeah, it builds rapport with people. I know exactly what you mean when people come in, they say they feel like they kind of already know you because they've watched
Mhm.
your content.
Yeah.
I felt like that when I met you. At least I felt like I knew you better than just staring at a web page,
Yeah.
and just saying, "Oh, this person," and just looking at her work. It does build that. And so you touched on a few things. So some people I've heard in the past are like, "I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be fake." But look, providing great customer service is not being fake. They're paying you a lot of money to come in. So putting on a smile, you might feel upset. We all have stresses and worries in our life. But
Yeah.
you put on a smile. I'm not going to sit there and tell you all my little problems because when you're
Mhm.
in front of me, I want to perform my best. I want you to have a great customer experience and I
Absolutely.
want you to be happy. So it's not being fake. It's just called being a smart business owner.
Yes. I also am very just in owning your own business and having to interact with so many personalities, because I am, I use Booksy for bookings, but I also take care of a lot of my text messages, phone calls, I am everything, at where I am. And so I've had to, I guess, even just like therapy sessions or just self help books. I do have, like just life experiences or shitty days. And, there's days where I'm crying in the morning, or there's days where things just happen, you get a bill or like, whoops, I forgot to, manage this correctly and do this. And, there's just everything builds up and you have a stressful day. Or I could be, my kid could be not very much, cooperating with me that day.
Oh, I know
Or
about
my
that.
love life, no one's perfect. I do sometimes like have those mornings and I just have to tell myself, like, everything has a solution in life except death. And I'm going to wake up. I have to go to work. Like I'm going to get through this and I'm going to have a good day. And so, and when I am having a bad day, I try not to get on my phone, and I just tell myself like this is going to pass. And I feel like taking a shower and just putting my makeup on helps. So even though I
Okay.
do feel shitty that day, or just, like I just don't want to interact maybe that day with people, I have to remind myself like, these people pay my bills, they make my livelihood, they give me the freedom that I have, they give me the freedom that I have with my son. I'm a very present parent, you know?
Yeah.
So again, he wakes up, I either take him to school, and then, if he wants breakfast, like his breakfast is there. I see him in the kitchen. I saw him in the kitchen this morning. And by 3:30, I'm off. I pick him up. I get to ask him what he wants for dinner, and he gets fresh cooked food every day. So if you follow me on TikTok, which I know you don't have TikTok, you would see that side of my
Okay.
life where I'm continuously cooking. Everyone's like, oh my God, you cook every day. And I'm like, yeah, I try to take what I remember from my childhood and try to give him those memories. And so he'll just remember that I'm present, I'm here, I'm available when he needs me, when he calls me, and then, whatever he wants for dinner, he gets this fresh food. So I always have to tell myself like I'm blessed to be where I am, and my clients are, my priority.
No, that's great. That's a great philosophy to live by and to follow through with. And I think it's good that you're showing people your other side, not just your business.
Mhm.
That's smart. And sounds like you're a great mom. I know you're a great mom. You're doing really well. And it's hard,
Oh
being a
yeah, it is.
parent,
It's
being a
hard.
parent in any capacity is very difficult, and running a business, and you
Yeah,
got employees, it could be very overwhelming and easy.
it
You can easily think in your mind about 10, 15 different things that you want to change or that's stressing
is.
you out, but if you focus on that, it's like, is
The
that really?
OT in having a business is real. It's crazy.
It
Mhm.
really is. And some people deal with it better than others, right?
Yes, I feel like having a good team really helps. We're super picky with the people that we let on because that is where you go, and nobody wants to go to work and not have a good experience, or not like your coworkers and etc. So I feel like my strong, right hand is my sister. She works with me and she's really good at calming me down if I'm having a bad day, or if something happens, that's like out of the norm. She's really good. Like she's kind of funny, so she'll text me and be like, "Ha," like, oh, okay, like God's testing you this week, like, or she's very good at saying like, don't even worry about it, like go enjoy the rest of your off day, and we'll deal with it this weekend, we'll have a team meeting and we'll address. So I do feel like having somebody on your team that just, is good at pep talking you and calming you down or making you feel better.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of, basically you're talking about your own personal brand. One of the things, like, so AI is coming and
Yeah,
it's here and it's just going to get better and better. One of the things that will continue to flourish are personal brands. So you building your personal brand, and anyone listening to this, you should, if you plan on staying in business, you should 100% continue to build your personal brand, because AI is going to be taking a lot of things away. It
yes,
really is. But
absolutely.
your personal brand uh, will stay, because you build that following, you build a
Yes.
community, and that's going to help your business flourish as others kind of fall down because of the AI effect. What's something that you wish you learned sooner when you were doing microblading that you know now? So earlier in the game, is there a certain technique? Is it stretching skin? Is there something that you wish you kind of
Um,
knew, years ago?
yeah, so I wish that not only I knew this a lot sooner, but I still try to teach my clients. And okay, so mineral pigments are best for microblading or ombre. Um, they're just less potent in the skin. So what we're seeing now, right? I get some of my clients come back and they just have like this gray washed out eyebrow, right? Sun exposure, retinol, just all, all these things that, skincare that they are exposed to, outside. It's hot in San Antonio. Um, I started off um thinking like, oh, like not necessarily like dark pigments like black. We don't use black on the eyebrow, but we do use like a dark brown. And so a lot of my clients have this perception that the darker you go, the longevity of this tattooed eyebrow, it's going to last them 10 years. No, that's not the reality of it anymore. Now that I've been in the industry for 8 years now, we're seeing our clients come back. And now I'm like, oh my God, no, I can't touch you up. Like, we're going to have to go with laser removal. We have to break apart those particles. They're just not aging well. And when I try to get them to go with a mineral line, so something just a little bit more natural that you'll detox out of your system in about 2 to 3 years, they want to, they kind of are just, well, a lot of them trust me. 90% of them trust me, and they're just like, whatever you say. But I do have that 10% that I still have to essentially probably make a YouTube video, so not repeat myself all the time. They just think darker is better. They think darker and longer lasting pigments are better. And I'm like, they're not. I wish I knew that.
What is a, well, let me, two things. When you tell somebody, hey, my work, either my work or those pigments that we were using 8 years ago just aren't good anymore, you might need to get this laser. How did you approach that, and are they receptive? They're like, I got to pay for that? How's that happen?
They're very receptive. They'll tell me, and it's not that they have to necessarily get it laser removed. They don't have to. I just can't put more ink into that cell particle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just like, no, I want it vibrant. And I'm like, no, they're still dark. There's still pigment in that cell. And then you want me to touch it up again, right? It's just not going to always be vibrant. I've had to have some of them, I've had to have some of them understand that even though they think the work is faded, it's not really faded. And it's always okay to go over your eyebrows with makeup and just go another year or two without seeing me. Like, let that ink break down and leave the area.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to go with laser, but if they want that refreshed look or warmth back into that tone of the eyebrows where it's not so cool, then yeah, I do recommend laser removal. Um, they're never upset. They're just like, okay, whatever you say.
That's good. That's
Mhm.
good. Probably because they like you. So what you're
Yeah.
saying is like it kind of gets oversaturated in that area.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you need it. It
Just
makes sense. You don't want to just keep going over and over and over and it.
Yeah, and so, I don't just tell them laser removal. I tell them to like I do my own brows, and sometimes I'll be in the sun, and just the UV rays just makes the area look a little blotchy. Sometimes I'll use retinol, and I forget. I don't follow my own instructions. Um, I don't.
I
I
know.
feel like privileged, like I could do my brows whenever I want to. But I could see the muddiness and how I'm oily skin as well. So I could see it all pulling under and just migrating, saturation. Just doesn't look good after a while. Um, but yeah, I could definitely see it. And so I tell them sometimes like you don't have to go with laser removal. Whenever it is time, they want that vibrancy again, I tell them like just start using retinol over them. I give them other options. Laser is not the only one. Like we have saline removal as well, or we can do a detoxing. I tell them like for a couple of weeks, just start using retinol on them. Retinol will really detox them out of
And
your.
what is retinol and what does it do?
Retinol is usually what people use for acne or for
Okay.
wrinkles.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm a guy. I don't really,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't use that stuff. Not
Yeah.
yet anyway.
Really good. It's really good. It's becoming very popular. I want to say that it's in so many creams now. It's just like hard to miss it now. Like I've gone to the drugstore and I've seen like L'Oreal have like products, cleansers. Everything has it. A lot of
Okay.
things, yeah, a lot of things have it now. It's promoted um for your cell turnover,
Okay.
Uh-huh. And
What,
so
so you also mentioned mineral inks. Is that what you said? Mineral inks?
a mineral
What
line.
And what brands are you using? What's some of your favorite inks that you use?
I use Brow Daddy, his mineral line. I really like his mineral line, but I still do use Permablend.
You do use Permablend?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Who was the
Yeah.
other big one? Is it Tina Davis?
Tina Davis is Permablend. Permablend
Oh,
makes
she owns that. Okay.
no. Permablend is their own person, is their own brand.
Okay.
And Tina Davis, basically, like they just reach out to these popular brands and they just collab.
Okay. So she's a distributor for Permablend.
Yes, and they
Okay.
make their own line with like her name on it. Brow Daddy had his own line with Permablend as well, but they had like um, I think that they had like a public breakup. Yeah, so now
I was following Brow Daddy for a while. I haven't seen his stuff in a while, but he's a beast. He's a beast.
oh, he's
He's
great. I love his lamination. He literally took something that took us artists like 30 minutes to process and broke it down, and now it takes 7 to 12 minutes and we're done. We can have our clients in and out the door. He's
with what?
great
What
with lamination, lamy and tinting.
is that where they like comb? I don't. That's where they comb the eyebrows up.
Yes, uh-huh. And they kind of uniform their way up where you can kind of brush them to the side. Tinting is tinting is different. There's tinting for the eyebrow hair, and then there's like a hybrid mixture where you can kind of tint the skin, kind of like a henna tattoo.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So there's different products out there in the market for
Wow.
your target, like what you're trying to target. He's one of the best ones that I've personally tried, and I've tried quite a few, and his products are amazing.
Wow. Shout to Brow Daddy.
Yeah.
um, Now, if people are interested in training with you, how can they contact you? Where can they find all your information? What's your website?
Yeah, you can find all of my information on browhousebeauty.com. But also on Instagram, we have a training tab where people just leave their information. So it's jot form. We use jot form. You just click on it, you leave your email address, your phone number, and usually I contact them.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what advice would you give before we kind of wrap this up? What advice would you give to any aspiring PMU artists?
Take a in studio training course first. Don't go learning on YouTube. This is not like a self taught industry. But practice, stay on it and practice, practice, practice. Nobody gets it on the first day. Nobody gets it on the second or third day. I want to say just determination and practicing. That's what
Thank
makes
you, Laura. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. You're killing it. Stay on.
you. Thanks.
Daddy.